Hi, everyone. Welcome to WWW with Daryl Ann. I'm talking to you on a beautiful, beautiful day in the Northeast. We have some real hope coming today. It's sunny, it's warm. Tomorrow's going to be warmer, so everybody's in a good mood. And as I said before, we are getting relief. We are getting the vaccines out there and COVID is becoming a little more in control. So I hope that you're all feeling the same kind of hopeful mood that I am. And they did just today pass that COVID bill. So good for everybody. And I really hope it helps. So let me bring you a little bit up to date. The last time we met, and again, welcome to my new friends and welcome to my old friends also. Happy to see you all. Hope you enjoy it. We left off with my incredible trip to Spain, which really, when I think about it and when I tell about it, is truly amazing that two young kids got this opportunity, you know, to do this fabulous thing. So we were very, very grateful, and we entertained a lot of people back home when we came back, which was great. So things were rolling along in our life. There were a few more trips as Bob again became busier and busier in his job. So I think back sometimes when I talk about things were rolling along, when I think about this old song back in the 50s, which was, "Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll." And indeed, they were rolling along. But remember, we were talking about how life has its ups and its downs. And so far, our life, luckily, had been a lot of ups. But then real life happened and the down came. Uh, so back in 1971, I was 30 years old and my husband Bob was 31 years old. And something quite unexpected and difficult happened to our lives. My big, strong guy actually had a massive heart attack. Yeah, yeah, he did. It was very, very serious. And there was a lot of damage done to his heart muscle. But thank God he survived. He was otherwise healthy, he was athletic, and he did survive that massive heart attack. But our lives changed. You know how life can change in a second, in a minute? And I'm sure some of you may have experienced that. Things can change. And so back then, there wasn't the way of handling heart disease the way it is now. Back then, it was okay. The patient had to go home and rest, 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 rest. No rehab, no PT, just rest and do practically nothing for 2.5 months, which was, of course, very difficult for a young guy like him and difficult for our family. Our kids were very young, 7 and down, okay? And 7, 5, 3, it was really hard. But we carried on. And during that difficult time, we had to reassess some things, the pressures of the job, and would we be able to make any kind of a change. Bob decided that he was going to start his own business with some partners, and we thought that that would be a really good answer to avoid the corporate pressures. So, indeed, he did start his own business, and he actually set it up initially in our house. So, imagine that. Starting a new business in a house with 3 kids and a huge dog, a St. Bernard dog, actually. Penny, we called Penny. And Penny was a monster dog, but as gentle as a lamb. She did scare a lot of people during those years, but she was a good girl. So we went along for those years. Bob recovered, we thought. He went back to playing tennis, traveling, The business demanded more travel, and it became difficult for us as a family. Constant worry about him. He did have some false alarms. He had some heart issues, and wound up in a hospital actually in different cities while he was traveling. And so sometimes I had to go to that city and be there at the hospital and then check him out. The stays didn't last that long, but there was a lot of doctoring, and in the meantime, a lot of work. A man who's 32, 33, 34 does not really think about mortality and really doesn't like the idea of cutting back and, changing a lifestyle. Older people, yeah, they get it. But a young guy, it was hard. So we went through some difficult years there, as he was recuperating, working, and having some episodes. During the time we were going through this, a couple moved in across the street from us, a wonderful couple who came from Argentina, Hector and Mary Jane Casanave, and they moved in with their 4 children. They were a godsend, a blessing, and their kids became friendly with my kids. My kids were actually teaching them English. When they came, they didn't speak English. Hector was actually a physician, and he secured a job with Exxon in Florham Park as medical director. So we became really, really close as a couple. And there were a couple of times when Bob didn't feel well, and Hector came over and helped us out and was really, really, really good to us. So wonderful memories, lifetime memories of Hector and Mary Jane. So I'm going to not draw out the downs because, they were downs, and ultimately they resulted in, unfortunately, a real tragedy for our family. Back in June of 1975, when Bob was 36 years old, unfortunately, he passed away from a massive heart attack. We were with Mary Jane and Hector at their house when it happened. Fortunately, I was with wonderful friends with a doctor and a nurse. They tried everything they could, but Bob did not survive. So life changed in a moment. Life changed. As I'm sure some of you have experienced with accidents or death, life does take on a whole new turn. So I was 35 years old with my 3 kids, who were at that time 11, 8, and 6, my son and 2 daughters. And so that was the end of a chapter of my life and the beginning of another chapter of my life. We will go on and on to tell you more stories. I will go on and you will hopefully listen, because I want to let you know that life, that's life. And when you have children and when you have spirit, things go on. And I hope for all of you who have gone through tragedies that you were able to recover somewhat. Time heals all wounds, and indeed it does, and it did in my case. And my life took a lot of different twists and turns that I'll be happy to share with you. And most of it was pretty funny from then on. So thanks again for tuning in. Remember, life is a roller coaster, ups and downs. You got to survive the downs, and I hope you all do. And I'll close with saying that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Okay, everyone, I hope you have a good day, good night. Hang in there. Bye-bye.